Hello and welcome everybody. This is the Witty Writers Show. It is a very special show today because it's a spicy book chat show and I am so excited. I've been looking forward to this for ages. Today we have with us the fantastic Josephine Wrightson.
Hello.
We also have the amazing Autumn Bardot. Hello, Autumn. And we also have the wonderful Tirza Schaefer.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Now, before I go any further, we were supposed to be having Leanna Dunk with us as well, who's another author and book blogger. But she's in Australia. They've just had a big storm, so she might be able to join us. She might not. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. Autumn is actually struggling with her Wi-Fi a little bit. So please bear with us because we've all got stuff going on. We're all in different places. We're literally in the US, UK, Germany, and hopefully Leanna in Australia. So if we have any technical difficulties, just bear with us. We're just going to go with the flow. So welcome, everybody, and thank you for tuning in for our spicy book chat. If you do have any comments, questions, want to tell us about your favorite book, especially if it's spicy or hot or steamy, please put them in the comments so we can see them. Or if you just want to say hello, pop it in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Now, ladies, we all have very, very different genres that we love to read and write. So I just want to quickly give an introduction to everybody. I'm going to start with Autumn because I know Autumn might not be able to do the whole show with us. And her Wi-Fi's just glitched. It's because I mentioned her name. So while we wait for Autumn to get back on, I'll go with you, Tirza, because birthday girl this month.
Happy birthday.
And book birthday because you just released.
Yeah. It's not my birthday, it's my book birthday. So
see, this is why I dye my hair blonde, Tirza.
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Honestly, I've got so much going on. So yes, it's your big book birthday. Tell us about your fabulous new hot and spicy book that you've just released.
That's Badass Bikers, and that's a contemporary reverse harem novel, a standalone with one leading lady who's a mature lady. She's in her 40s and she's meeting 4 hot hunky bikers, and things develop from there, and there's lots and lots happening in the story. It's not just about the smut, but there's like so many layers to it, you know. So I could go on forever, but I won't. So I'm just going to tell you, find out.
I have read some of your reviews and they've been absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited to read it. And I've got to tell you, Tez, I love the fact that you write about mature people who have been there, done it, got the T-shirt and just, you know all the ins and outs. I love that.
Yeah, because I mean, I love reading romance as well. So I'm writing what I love reading as well. And I was like starting this or in the middle of some romance novel, and I was like, it was about a pregnancy scare and maybe having a little baby and starting a family. And I'm like, I'm like 2/3 of an empty nester here. I can't relate to that anymore, So I was like, okay, let's try like the cougar and MILF thing, So I went into the search and that. And at the time, I didn't find anything that wasn't like, I don't know, like some neglected housewife and the son's college friend or something like that. So it was always like more of an erotic theme, and it was badly written most of the time as well. And I was like, this is not good, because I love the romance, the emotions, the story around it and all that. So that totally wasn't hitting my spot, So I was like, okay, if you can't find it, write it yourself.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Josephine, before we discuss what you do, just quickly, we've got so many people that are popping up and saying hello. I'm gonna pop them up so everyone can say hi. We've got James. He says, if I'm a guy with a free afternoon, can I still watch? Yes, you can, James. He's one of our #1 fans of the show. James, you are awesome. You always tune in. It's absolutely fantastic. And just so everybody knows, this spicy book chat isn't just for women. It's for men as well. I've lost count how many times I've heard a friend say, "Oh yeah, I was reading this really spicy book last night, and my husband was like pretending to read his book, but he's like that, like looking over, trying to read as well." So spicy books of any genre are just as popular with men as well. So everybody can join in. It's great. My daughter Holly has joined in. She's so excited.
Hello, Holly.
I love her. We've also got Peggy. Hi, Peggy. She's saying hello. And we've also got author Carrie Weston. She's fantastic. She really is. You do need to check her out. She's absolutely wonderful. We've also got the fabulous Rochelle Bradley, who's another author. She says, hello, ladies from Dayton, Ohio. Hello. And Holly says, happy book birthday, Tirza.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually, that was Tank. That was my first reverse harem book, and that actually came out Valentine 2 years ago. So that's the one.
And that, I'll tell you, time flies. It
really does. That must have been when I read it as well.
We've also got the fabulous Gina. Hello, she says, hi, everyone. Hello, darling. There we go. And Carrie says, happy book birthdays. I'm so excited about your badass bikers. What a title. I'll tell you, it's awesome. Autumn says, I couldn't hear anything and you were all freezing. I'm at work where my Wi-Fi is horrid. So I'll just pipe in this way. I love it. See, we're all adaptable women. We can do it. We can do it. We've also got the wonderful Sarah Louisa as well. She said, hello, ladies. Oh my gosh, I've got so many comments. We've got Heather. Heather Skinner's just joined us. Heather has a fantastic book group, which is absolutely awesome. It's for men as well. I've lost count how many times.
I can still hear you. You're running out very
What's happening there?
I don't know. It's what you said earlier, playing back to us for some reason. It's not me. I've not touched anything.
Okay. Sorry, mine went off, although I muted it, but I couldn't see that.
That's weird. It was like listening to myself, but like a couple of minutes ago.
Bizarre. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Yeah. So we got Heather. She says, Gemma and I are popping in to say hi to everyone. Hello, darling. Heather's actually working on her first novel as well, which is so exciting.
Oh, wow.
I know. Right? And nice. Gina says, men make up 30% of the romance readers.
I've noticed a lot of, on my Facebook, the women are saying, my husband's reading it, giving it to him to read and things like that. Just like
I bet half of them don't admit it at work though. Oh, Autumn's back. Hello, darling. We can see you. Hello. We can see you. Just bear with me a second, darling. I'm just popping up the hellos. Carrie says, oh, thanks, hon. Oh, that's lovely. Right, before we lose her again, Autumn, tell us about the spicy hot books that you do.
Well, I have 2 traditionally published erotica, which is Legends of Lust, which is a bunch of short stories about gods and goddesses. Very nasty. Levels of nastiness.
In a good way.
And also traditionally published is Confessions of a Sheba Queen, which is smoking hot erotic retelling, which actually has a real story to it about the Queen of Sheba. So that is smoking hot. But then a lot of my historical fiction also has very spicy scenes. Like if you read the reviews, I'm thinking, what did you read? So I think a lot of people are reading a lot into those very spicy scenes. And it's actually how I actually got the traditionally publishing contract for the erotica. Was I had sent in samples of my spicy scenes from my historical fiction. So spicy.
Wow, that is interesting. Interesting. So we've got a real mix here, I'll tell you today, because it's absolutely fantastic. Now, Josephine, your stories, your books are sci-fi, but you've also got dark paranormal as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So tell us a bit about yours.
Well, the ones that I've recently re-edited are the sci-fi ones, the dark paranormal, bit of demons and angels going on. But at the moment, I'm doing Broken Fears, which is the paranormal, bit Beauty and the Beastish, the easiest way to describe it, and that will be going on shortly. And yeah.
It's so exciting. It
I'm
really,
thrilled
really is.
with the re-edit of this one.
That's awesome. I tell you, I love the fact that in the whole spicy book, steamy book, hot book world, there are so many different types of genres. You know, my books are science fiction and fantasy, but I do include spicy scenes in there, and you know, because they are integral to the relationships of my main characters. And I think that's what I love about all of our books, is that we don't just throw in the spice and the sex scenes and everything else. That they're there for a purpose, because there are real relationships going on, real dynamics going on, and it just adds to the realistic feel of our books. Do you know what I mean?
Have a story.
Well, exactly. And I'm super excited to tell everyone, because I'm actually writing a new novel right now, which is, I tell you, not only am I sort of, I'm giggling as I'm writing it. I swear to God. So it's going to be called Domestic Goddess to Dominatrix. I know, I'm excited. And I'm trying to describe it to people. I'm like, okay, it's gone from like Bridget Jones's Diary meets Sex and the City to meets possibly a bit of 50 Shades as well. And I'm like, it's going good. It's going good. So we're all writing stuff that people can relate to in proper relationships. For you, Autumn, how is, I mean you're a prolific writer. You've got so many books that have been published, you know, and obviously, you know, you're an English educator as well. Do you find all of that helps when you're writing your spicy hot scenes, or do you think it you know, it's more emotional than mental thing?
Well, you know, it's funny you should ask that, because I was just talking to my 12th graders just like 20 minutes ago about that. I said, I don't teach English. I teach language arts. That is the art of language. And the art of language is using words to manipulate, persuade, anger, whatever it may be. And so I think when you write a spicy scene, using the right words is important, so important, because it can convey so much. It can turn off a writer, it can turn off a reader. It can make them cringe, which makes it not so spicy anymore. And it can, you know, you go, ooh, that sounds really good. So I think we have to be mindful of how we use the words.
Oh, do you know what? I agree, because there are some words, and I'm sure all of you will agree with this, there are some words that just turn women off.
Yeah.
And they're not the same ones as that affect men. I mean, and I'm just wondering, I'm going to say this word, and I'm wondering how many women who are watching right now are going to cringe. Moist.
I don't have a problem with that.
But you know, so many women do. So I mean, literally, I've got.
But you want a moist cake?
I know. But
I mean, I like to eat cake, but I'm not a cake. But I think wet is more honest, isn't it? I mean, quite frankly.
Exactly. I mean, Gina says, let's have a look.
I don't think I've used moist.
Gina says depends where it's used, and do you know what, you are very, very right. But there are there are so many words that women just don't appreciate reading. So give us your feedback, everyone who's watching. If you can think of a word that people they're like, oh, don't like that, let us know, because some of them actually really surprise you. Sorry, I'm just blocking a spammer.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, our reach is growing.
Yeah. What I really hate are derogatory terms for women, like slut and so on, that kind of thing. I know it turns some people on, and probably more men than women, but when I hear something like that, I just go, that's like, like you empty an ice bucket over my head. It's nothing in comparison to using that kind of language. For
Do you
me.
know what? I agree. I think it's strange, isn't it? Because they're guys like certain words because they come across as a bit taboo and they're a bit naughty. So when a woman says those words, they're like, whoa. You know what I mean? It has that effect on them. But for women, there are certain words used in books, and Autumn is so spot on. And Tirza, it can literally either make or break your book if you use the wrong terminology. So it's tough, isn't it? I mean, I had a chat with my daughter the other day, and I'm thinking I wanted a funny word for. I'm going to say, I don't know whether Gemma's
gone.
No, super careful. Heather, you might want to move Gemma out into the other room. Okay, so trying to think of a universal word for a vagina. But
Dominic said.
If you look in there's one in the comments, and it's not nice.
I needed a funny word because it was, I've got 3 characters that are very sort of Sex and the City. They've very got that banter, that that fun chat about anything, that type of relationship. And I'm trying to write a funny scene, but I wanted a funny name for a vagina. And I'm thinking, well, is there a universal word for that? I mean, I know terminology in the UK, and I'm thinking, will people in the US know that that's a vagina? The things you have to think about when you're writing a book. I ended up coming up with hoo-ha.
I did.
My hoo-ha.
I wonder where you got it from.
Everyone's going to know what a hoo-ha is. But when I was researching it, you should have seen the different ones that are said around the countries. I mean, Autumn, you have students from all over. You must hear all sorts. How hard is it?
And they keep coming up with new ones. But I think, and that's the thing, like what's funny to us and what's funny to them, and then you want to make it I had the most challenging thing for me about writing erotica and even the sexy, spicy scenes is finding the word, the image, and what people told me was like that I've heard on other podcasts and things was they liked when it was more poetic and figurative, other than in your face raunch.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I've heard Lady Garden, Flower, you name it. We've got some comments here, so I'm going to put them on. I'm dying. My makeup's already running, and my eyes are streaming.
I think that's a bit too Victorian for me. Lady Garden.
Oh God. Okay, James we were talking about moist. James says a moist cake is better than a turgid cake. James, I think you're fantastic. Isn't he awesome? I love him. Okay. Right. Gina says, I don't like the C word no matter how it's used.
No.
Which one?
Yeah.
See you next Tuesday. But do you know what? I tell you, right, I know this I've been researching a lot for my new novel. And you'd be surprised how many guys love hearing a woman say the C word. Because it's that taboo word. It's that naughty word that should never be said by a woman. So it's like a taboo effect, and they're like, ooh.
Yeah, I think like some words, and I mean the word cunt actually comes from a goddess Kuntis, but it's been used for such a long time in a derogatory manner that it's got like the N word for black people, which
Yeah.
is, is like, I even cringe when I hear black people say that, as I mean, I can tolerate it in rap or something when I listen to music, and I don't really listen to the words so much, but it really comes up the wrong way for me. And that's the same thing for me. It's not just about being taboo or something, but it's about having respect and cherishing the person that you're close with and having sex with, because they're sharing part of themselves with you, and you're sharing part of yourselves with the other person. And for me, insulting somebody has no room in that. And
No,
I don't
I
want to
agree.
be insulted. I want to be cherished and, like put on a pedestal rather than being put down,
Exactly. Well, let's face it, we are all four of us goddesses.
Exactly.
And it's interesting because I didn't know that was a name for a goddess.
Yeah, it's a Hindi goddess. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so Dominique, she said yes, C word is a no for her too.
Yeah.
Gina says we call it a peachy. I like that.
That's cute as well.
A peachy. Oh, that's quite cute. I like that. That's very, very nice. Dominic is killing herself, laughing, bless her. Okay, Gina says yes, we've used that word too. Dominique says she says clit, and a lot of men need a Mac for that little rascal. Just saying. Beth says hello, ladies. Hello, Beth. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Beth.
Gina says, yeah, exactly. Dominique says, I love you, Tirza Schaefer, author.
Oh, I love you too, darling. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love it. But do you know what tickled me? And I've noticed this throughout the years. I mean, I used to sell lingerie and stuff when the kids were young, because I was able to work evenings and stuff. And oh my God, the stuff that I used to hear women come out with. And it's great material, for future books and stuff like that. But women will talk about anything. And I love that. I love that we are, when we're with our girlfriends, we're willing to talk about anything and everything, especially when it comes to spicy books. Now, when you look at today's market, there have been certain books that have literally just blown up. And Leanna's going to curse me right now because I'm going to start talking about one of her favorites. But 50 Shades of Grey just blew up, and it reignited, multiple genres. It really, really did, because not just, the romance genre, but it had a knock-on effect with other genres as well, in the amount of spice that you add in books. Now, I know there are mixed feelings about E.L. James and 50 Shades, quality of writing, etc., etc. But I have to say, I actually devoured all of the books. I did, because I liked the reasons behind why he was the way he was. Do you know what I mean? I liked the fact that there was a story behind a man who was abused and taken advantage of and then turned into a dominant. And I liked that storyline. So I actually devoured all of the books. I really did. In fact, I read them twice. I'll just admit it right now. I can't help it. But for I mean, Josephine, for you, what spicy books have really sort of had a profound reaction on you?
That's difficult for me to answer, because when I initially started to write, it wasn't as easy, as accessible, or even as acceptable as it is now.
Yeah.
I have read, I know the 50 Shades, and at first glance, until you get into the story, it didn't tweak all my senses. I didn't read, but then when you look beyond the initial, there is a story there, and it is, for me, I actually prefer the story. I don't just want a book to read the spicy bits. I want the spicy bits to enhance the story.
Yeah.
And make it something. So I read constantly, and I've read lots. And I don't think there's anyone. I speak to no end of authors, and I only read indie now, although I've read Autumn's traditionally published ones. There's so many now. It's been an almost revolution.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But whatever you think of 50 Shades, however you sort of let it in, read it, whatever your thoughts on it are, it was a tremendous thing for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It was almost, as I say, it was almost a revolution. And now there are a lot of us and a lot of ladies that, I mean, I've just been doing it for a lot longer. It's just, I've only recently started to be an indie author.
What about you, Tirza? Because obviously, I mean, you do various types of romance. You don't just do the reverse harem. You do lots of different types of dynamics in romantic dynamics in your books. Do you think that it's opened up, you know, the whole romance and spicy book genre?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think especially in romance as opposed to erotica, the authors aren't so afraid anymore to be more explicit when it comes to the hot scenes, which I actually really like, because I don't need to beat around the bush with everything all the time, you know. Just tasteful, yes, but not like euphemisms and you know, and nothing straight out. So for me, that's a definite plus. I think we all know the arguments for and against the 50 Shades, so you know, we can leave that out here. So you know, I was looking at it in a critical way, but that's definitely something that has had a very positive effect. And is like, and people actually, you know, like people who've read my books, I've started publishing in 2015, and people who've read my books then, they say, I'm sorry, I can't post a review on Amazon because my family uses that as well when they see that, and blah 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 and whatever, you know. So they were like really closed up, and you know, it was all behind closed doors and things like that. And now people are a lot more open to, you know, say, yeah, I read all that and I love it, you know. And I mean, just go on Instagram, and that you've got reels and reels full of people, you know, doing the smutty bits and even posting that with, you know, and being really totally behind it, which I love, you know, that we have had such a revolution of women coming out and owning their sexuality, which is very important, you know.
Empowering.
Very empowering, yes.
Yeah. It really, really is. Now, Autumn, I mean, you've got self-published books and you've got traditionally published books. Do you think books like 50 Shades that have opened the doors to more realistic relationships with more in-depth sexual contact between characters, do you think that's made a big difference for your books as well? That's the thing, isn't it? It's
you know, I have no idea, and I think, you know, it was a phenomenon, and everybody read it. Even people who didn't read spicy books read it. So just to get that, you know, to get that nibble or that taste. But you know, they've been, books like that have been around for a long time. I remember reading Judy Blume. She had a couple sexy scenes about, I can't remember, it was a YA book. And I remember it got passed around, and it was dog-eared in high school. And then, you know, I read Kathleen Woodwise. Ooh, right? That's like early romantic bodice ripper stuff. So I think it's been around a long time. I think it just got it's cred, and it's got it became like okay. It became okay, which is cool. But you know, there's stuff on there now. Like my son came to me, he's like, there's some lady who got really famous on TikTok from a review from her dinosaur robot porn.
Do you know what I've got to say? Can I just talk about this for a second? Because I have seen so many. There's a whole thing going on right now about alien romance and alien mates and stuff, but which is fine. You know, I mean, I love people going outside of the box and using their imagination. However, I saw a picture on TikTok yesterday, and this alien would look like a spider, and it's alien romance, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I wouldn't want something.
A lot of that
near me.
There's also a big market for tentacle sex.
I was just going to say, there's tentacles. There's all sorts out there.
No shit, tentacles.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I've never read any of that because it's not my jam either. But yeah, I've seen it around.
Interesting. Do you know what? I don't knock anybody who loves to read that, because you know what, we all love our own thing. But there are some, and I think, oh, not sure about that.
They're a bit close.
But as I said, I don't knock it, because we all, you know, we're all into our different things.
Yeah.
We're one of the things that I'm enjoying about writing my new novel is the fact that I discuss fetishes, and my main characters are all talking about different fetishes and all this sort of stuff. And you know, at the end of the day, a fetish is something that turns you on, and it doesn't matter whether it's men with beards, or you like a nice butt, or for men, you know, you got men who are into boobs and bums and whatever, but it's still a fetish for something. It's still something that you're sexually attuned to, that makes you feel good. I don't know none of it. After the jobs I've done selling lingerie and stuff like that, and listening to women's stories, nothing shocks me anymore. Nothing, I'll tell you. Okay, we got some more comments, so I'm going to put them up. Okay, so Carrie has got some more suggestions for women's body parts and different names you can use for novels. She says, I like bud, petals, and secret lips. It's cute. I quite like that.
The petals is used in a lot of the other monster ones as well.
Oh, interesting.
The tentacles are called petals in the female.
It's better than some that I've heard. I'll tell you, some of them are just cringeworthy. Okay, Dominique's still laughing, bless her. Beth says, jam out with your clam out. Worst I've ever heard. Jam out with your clam out. Oh my
That's
god,
terrible.
I'm dying right now. I swear to God, my makeup's just running off my face. Okay, my mum's just joined us. She says, hi ladies from the UK. I love you, mum. My mum is the most coolest mum ever, I've got to tell you. And I've got to tell you a quick little funny story, because my mum had one of these lingerie parties when I was a teenager, and I was off school poorly, and I could hear my mum and all her friends, you know, laughing and joking and chatting about everything, as women do. I think I was about 14, 15. I was mortified. I'm thinking, did she just say that word? Did she just admit to doing that? And I'm like, I was mortified. So anyway, I said to my mum, I'm not listening to this. I went off, and I mean, I was sweet and innocent. I was horrified about what all these women were talking about. And then I ended up doing the same thing, hosting these parties for lingerie and all this sort of stuff. And I rang my mum and I said, you'll never guess what I'm doing now as a job. And she said, oh, really, are you? She said, do you remember that day? When you were oh my gosh, I'll never live it down. Let's have a look. Okay, so Dominique says she loved the whole series, the whole entire series. So I'm assuming that's 50 Shades. She says, I even loved her side characters. I did too. I think sometimes you just have to overlook things and just enjoy the story. And 50 Shades did read really quickly. I mean, it was very fast paced, very easy to read, and it was just easy. It was just an easy read. Okay, Gina says, you're right, Josephine. That's what makes it a really good book. We've also got Lisa who's joined us. She says, hello, ladies.
Hello, Lisa.
She is fantastic. James says, I'm still working on my apocalyptic erotica, LOL. Well, we all want to read it when you're done, James. I expect an advanced copy. Just saying. Carrie says, oh my God, a spider. I'd die. Oh my God. Nancy's joined us. She says, fun stuff. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, my darling. I really am. Oh my God. I'll tell you, relationship and sex is just a funny topic, isn't it? No matter what genre you're talking about. Nancy says, parents don't have sex, do they? Question. Oh my God. I wonder how many of us have been in that situation where you suddenly realize that, yes, your parents do still have sex. And you're like, dun, dun, dun. Oh my God. But do you know what? I mean, not only are women the most avid romance readers and readers of spicy books and everything else, but the majority of women who literally devour books and read consistently and regularly are the older women. They are the older ladies, because they appreciate having the quiet time, that they're not falling asleep as soon as their kids have gone to bed. Because, I mean, I remember those days. I've got 4 children. And by the time I managed to get them all in bed, even though I wanted to read, I could barely keep my eyes open. Because by the time you finish doing everything, you're just exhausted. So it's when your children have started moving out and growing up that you can actually sit down and enjoy a really good read. So I love the fact, that especially you, Tirza, you write for more mature women who have got that extra time on their hands where they can relax and enjoy a good read. Oh my gosh, my eyes are just streaming. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Adam says hello. Hello, Adam. Thank you for joining us, my darling.
Happy.
James says, girls, I can feel my ears reddening. We do have that effect, James. I'm sorry. Carla says hello. Welcome, Carla. Thank you for joining. And
hello,
Adam says, glad to see you all enjoying. We certainly are. Are. Oh my gosh. Now, I have to say, I don't know about you ladies, but I read all sorts of genres. And one of the genres that I do love to read and always have done is horror. I do love a good horror. Stephen King, James Herbert, etc. And some of those have got some really spicy scenes in them as well. I remember reading one Stephen King book. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Sepulchre. And damn, that had some spicy scenes in it. And I just was not expecting it whatsoever, because you think it's just going to be all about horror and the horror story. You don't expect all of a sudden to have a big, saucy, spicy scene, And I've got to be honest, I was reading it next to my husband in bed, and I was like, oh. I was supposed to be terrified reading this book, not like, oh, hello. Is it? I mean, what do you think, Autumn? I mean, do you? I mean, you're an avid reader of all genres as well. Has there been any books where you've been surprised by a scene that's been thrown in that's spicy and steamy? I've got a thinking now. Look, because she reads just you do, Josephine.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a surprise sex scene. No, but I don't read horror. Oh, I've read some horror, but it wasn't that horror. And I think if you're going to blend horror with the sex, you probably need to be mindful. But I can see why they do it in movies, because you're bringing people up and down that emotional roller coaster. But what I find interesting is that with writing is that I think sometimes it's what we don't write that has people's minds going. Like we throw out the breadcrumbs of what somebody, we throw out the breadcrumbs of the spiciness, and people will see or envision something. They'll envision and see something much differently. So I think I always find that very interesting when somebody comes back and tells me about a spicy scene, and they're like, oh, and this is it. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you imagined.
Do you know
I
what?
think sometimes what we don't write is just as important as what we do.
Yeah. Do you find that, Josephine? Because I mean, I've obviously read 2 of yours,
Yeah.
and you know, I loved your scenes. You know, your spicy scenes, because not only were they part of the relationship and you know, the connection between the characters, but you didn't go overboard with the detail. You didn't over explain what was going on or give too much of the details. So I was able to picture it in my mind in my own way with the details that you did give. And there's a balance, isn't there, between making it too graphic and letting
when you're reading the words and you're picturing the scenes yourself, you're tailoring it to what you like and what you would and how you see it. Everything's personal. You could read 2 sentences in exactly the same way, you and I, but they'll mean 2 different things to both of us.
Yeah.
And I like to try and create that and leave something to the imagination.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether I manage it is another matter.
Well, you did for me. That's all that matters.
You try. I mean, they are quite graphic. Terminology, I try to just be correct and write what feels right within that scene.
Yeah.
If I read it, if I'm cringing, then that's not right.
Yeah.
But it is all, words are very personal to each and every one of us. And yeah, the reality of life is in there, even though it's fantasy and you can run with it, it's still life.
Well, let's face it, I mean, you know, it's a huge part of any healthy relationship, isn't it? Because everybody needs to feel wanted and needed. You know,
but I do have a thing for creating angst. I like a good bit of angst.
Well, exactly. Tirza, how is it for you? Because obviously you write, you know, quite intricate relationship dynamics, and different sexual power dynamics as well. How easy is that for you to write with your books?
I'm kind of exploring as well. I'm very much somebody who goes by intuition and with the flow, because I've noticed when I'm trying to plan something, the characters just take off and do something completely different. Like with the bikers, I thought, oh, I'm gonna write something maybe, I don't know, like 40-50K, and you know, so that's it. You know, it's like one after the other's gonna, you know, join the relationship or something, you know, having a bit of drama on the side, and that's it. That was sort of my plan, you know, make it a bit interesting along the way. And then things totally happened differently. New characters came, characters that I had acted completely differently to what I had intended, and it was just crazy. I was like going crazy. My head was like, guys, what are you doing? You know, I mean, I've deleted entire chapters and rewrote them several times. That was the craziest book as in writing process, and it's also the most complex in relationship dynamics that I've written. It's also the first one where I have main characters who are members of the rainbow community. So you've got like bisexual men in there as well in their harem, and they've kind of, you know, that they've got different dynamics as well between them, and you know, to kind of find that balance and explain it in a way where that comes from and how they interact with each other, but then also with Ava, the female main character, and then you know, and how that is different as well, but it all works in the whole relationship with everybody in there. It was quite a journey, yes.
Those darn characters, they never do what you want them to do they?
Never. No, they're naughtier than my children, honestly.
There's no predicting it. There's no predicting it.
It's just like, go left. No, they're just all heading right, you know.
Chris and Nick Barrett. Hello, darling. Nice to see you, Nikki. She's one of my newest readers. She says, love spicy horror too. Oh, yes, for sure. James says, horny, scared, horny, terrified. Scared. Oh, sorry, scared, terrified. You're absolutely right, though, Autumn, with the emotional roller coaster, aren't you? Because let's face it, I think any really good book that has any spice is going to be good if it's got that really good roller coaster where you don't know what's going to happen next. You know, your characters are up on the high, then they're on the low. You need that. You need to, you need to be taken on a complete journey, don't you? And to have a bit of everything. I'll tell you what surprised me the most, I think, is obviously now we have TikTok on the scene. And that's been huge for many authors. And I've seen quite a number of authors just going viral all of a sudden, even though their books have been out for years. You need one person to just start talking about it for it to go viral, like Ruby Dixon.
Yeah.
I mean, Josephine and I have discussed Ruby. You know, her books were out for I can't even remember how long, but all of a sudden, that her books had just exploded. You know, it's all alien romance and that type of book. And again, it's rejuvenated that whole genre. Again, it's just it's mind blowing. But they're quite easy reads, I think, most of them. They're not too complex. They're just fun reads with a storyline, something that you can whiz through. For you, Josephine, I think, what do you think has inspired you the most as an author? I mean, author, book, or really just taking it from life,
day-to-day life. In the past, when I've written, it's been a little bit of sanity. A long time ago, but now I just get such a buzz out of it, and I get lots of support, so I'm able to do it. Things happened, life took a turn, and not being a spring chicken, being an older lady myself, and I totally agree with what you said about with Tirza's books as well. There was so much out there that's for the young adults or 20-ish age groups. There wasn't as much out for that middle-age group like we are. I'm not allowed to say that, but anyway. We are. And
150 and fantastic. I don't know about everyone else.
I'm a bit older than 50 now. I'm older than you. But it just wasn't. So I like to write for that age group.
Yeah.
Just because we're getting older and we've hit menopause and all the rest of it doesn't mean that we still don't want to be active.
Well, exactly.
Or that we still haven't got that buzz to be emotionally tied to somebody, because for me, it's the emotion, not just the act. There are books out there that is just pure sex, and they don't do anything for me. I want to read about the relationships and the dynamics between all the characters. And you're right, when you start writing, I have a character in Balance, the first two books, which you read, Beth, that makes an appearance in the Black Knight series. And his world's just turned upside down, and it's totally different to what it was in there. I never intended that when I started the books, but a year down the line, I thought, I can do that with that one, and ran with it, and it worked really well. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, we have a life as well, and we are allowed to read this stuff and do this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good. It is empowering. there's nobody in the background saying, oh, you're saying that, you shouldn't be doing that, you can't write that, you don't. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Do you know what? I so agree with you. And Tirza's books, your reviews are just fantastic. Honestly.
Sorry, I'm just reading a message from my husband.
I'm going to pop it up. Look. So this is Nick, Josephine's husband. He says, bloody Nora, I want a divorce. No, you don't, Nick, because then you'd have to train a new one. and I'm not being funny, Nick, but if you did, you know, she's a bit of a MILF. She might end up with a younger model. I'm just saying. Right. Barry says, I like reading books with all aged protagonists and all sizes. So it's refreshing. Do you know what? Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Carrie. I really, really do. It's really not. Do you know? I think that's why Bridget Jones was so popular. The Bridget Jones's Diaries, because I mean, she was an average girl. She was, you know, she wasn't a size 0. You know, as here in America, exactly. She wasn't, you know, she had curves, she had boobs, you know, she didn't wash her hair every day, she didn't always have, you know, makeup.
I did, mine falls out.
Do you know what I think that's why she was, you know, why the Bridget Jones series and movies as well, because obviously it went on to be movies. I think that's why they were so popular, because everybody could relate to her. You know, yes,
I think it's important. I try to, although my characters may become all that, even though they're of an age, they don't start off that way.
Yeah.
It's took me all my life to get to this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it does with the characters as well.
Exactly. Josephine, I've got to say, look, Nick says bunch of tarts.
He does call me an old tart. He does that a lot.
Nick, I've got confession. That's why my husband married me. It wasn't for the cooking. I can tell you that now. It's a miracle I've kept him alive.
Sarah Louise is saying hi, Nick, as well.
She did look. There you go. Hi, Nick.
Well, I mean, in Bridget Jones, there was also Colin Firth on there. Let's not forget him. And just have a small moment.
I like Pride and Prejudice with him diving into the water and coming out with the silk shirt on. That's the scene that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yes.
I'm showing my age a bit now, but yeah.
Now, let me just, I've got to turn my phone off airplane mode for a second because, where is it? Lynn's just messaged. Hang on a second. Oh, it will come through in a second. Because actually, Autumn has actually done some videos about adding sexy scenes and stuff and adding spice to books. Oh, there we go. Drop the... Okay.
Sorry, I'm reading the comment.
Autumn, if you could put the link to your YouTube video about writing sexy scenes, that would be great, because we do have a lot of viewers who are new authors, and I'm sure they would appreciate it. So that would be fantastic.
It's a brilliant video, yeah.
Autumn had to nip off, unfortunately, because she's got another class to teach. But oh my gosh, do you know? I love you, ladies. You are an absolute blast. I really, really do. Oh my God. Let's have a look. Next, what was it?
I know, he told me.
What, that it's a miracle I've kept him alive with my cooking.
Well, I resurrected my husband. Anyway.
He didn't marry me because I was sweet and innocent, that was for sure. Okay. Lisa says, poor Josephine. LOL.
This is great.
Carrie says, oh my God, the Mr. Darcy moment with the wet t-shirt and pond melt.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Do you know, it's funny because I purposefully, because my new novel reminds me so much of the humor and the dynamics of Bridget Jones, I've actually called my main character Clarissa Darcy, because it's a role reversal, complete role reversal. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Cool.
Dominic says, yeah, Dominic says, yes, please. James says, this has been a super fun show. Oh, I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I'm really early. Dominic says, 2 bloody good reasons he married you, and they're right here. I'm not even denying it. I'm not even denying it. And do you know what? He still stayed with me when I had half of them removed. Well, the only reason was because all of a sudden they were pert again after having 4 kids. Oh,
Dominic, I shared that video in my group as well, and I put it. I'm pretty sure I put it in the guides in the guides section as well for writers tips. I've got a couple of Autumns in there, her videos, because she is bloody brilliant. She's so good, and she's got so much brilliant stuff going on there. So just check out her whole channel and go through that. It's brilliant.
She's fantastic.
Such value. Yeah.
Autumn does videos and talks about every aspect of writing from start to finish. She's so good. She really, really is.
It's brilliant.
I'm afraid we've run out of time.
No.
I know, I'm going to have to do it again.
Yes, when we started.
Yes, please.
I love it. I love it. Well, maybe our viewers can give us some topics to have book chats about. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Funnier the better, because we love a good giggle, as you can see. We have been live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Please don't forget to share our book chat, because we do like to reach out to new readers and new people. So please share away, and don't forget to like and subscribe on my Facebook author page, so you're up to date with all our new and upcoming events. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube as well. All our authors, Josephine, Tirza, and Autumn, all their details are attached to this show, so you can find them and follow them wherever you like, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. All their links are on there. Please let us know if you read our books, because we would love to know what you think, and reviews mean everything to us.
Yes, please. The good one.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. You are the bestest ever. We will definitely have to do another one, and although I need to get all this building work done at my house first, because I don't know whether you can hear it, but I can hear voices and hammering and all sorts. But thank you, my darlings, and I will see you soon for our next fantastic Witty Writers Show book chat.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
See you later. Bye for now, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time. Bye.